Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new strong and weak picks for patch 7.13. So this patch will be out around next Wednesday, I'm pretty sure. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the changes and kind of look at which champions will be getting better and which champions will be getting weaker. So that being said guys, let's get started. So the first champion we're going to take a look at here is going to be Galio, and these changes to Galio are actually pretty big for the tank Galio that is super popular right now. So what they're doing to Galio is they're nerfing his Q's base damage by quite a bit. So it's going down by 15 at rank 1, and then at rank 5 it's going down by 35, which is actually a really big amount considering you do max your Q out first on Galio. His base armor is also getting decreased, and to kind of compensate for the nerf to his Q base damage, they're increasing the AP ratio on his Q as well as the AP ratio on his ultimate, but I don't think that's really going to help him out too much, because the way you want to play Galio is you want to play him as a tank. You don't really want to be building a whole lot of AP on him, but with these changes now, we might see players go to maybe build 1 or 2 AP items on him now. He's not going to be as strong as a full tank in this next patch, and especially with the Doran's ring nerf in, I think it was last patch or the patch before, it just makes Galio quite a bit weaker now. So he's not going to be like a must ban champion anymore, and I think that there's going to be a few other tank picks now in the top lane that you're going to want to pick up other than Galio. Now, a champion that is actually pretty good into Galio is getting buffed in this next patch, who is Gnar. So Gnar, he's getting some pretty good changes here to his Q's damage in his range form. So what they're doing to it is they're increasing the base damage of it by quite a bit at rank 5. So it's going up from 125 base up to 165. So that's actually a really nice buff to Gnar, because you do max your Q out first. So you're going to be getting a lot more damage from that ability now. And they're also buffing his E to where the range on it is getting increased from 475 to 600. I think this buff actually might make Gnar come back into the meta a little bit. He has been out of the meta for just such a long time now, and I think the buff to his Q is actually pretty good. It's not going to make him like super OP or anything, and he's not going to be like a must pick champion, but I do think it's going to make him a lot more viable now for the top lane, especially in specific matchups. Now, AD Kennen is getting nerfed in this upcoming patch, but AP Kennen is getting buffed. Personally, I don't like AD Kennen at all. I find it pretty boring to play. I find it very annoying to play against, and I really like the AP Kennen that used to be really popular, so I'm glad they are trying to bring that back in this next patch here. So what they're doing to AD Kennen is they're nerfing his W to where, you know, when you stack up your auto attacks and you get that 5th auto attack, which is empowered, they're nerfing that in this next patch to where they're reducing the AD ratio on that 5th auto attack, and they're also adding an AP ratio on it. They're also adding a base damage to it as well. So this does help out AP Kennen, but if you're going to be building him AD, then you are going to be losing a little bit of damage from that 5th shot in this upcoming patch. And they're also giving him a really nice buff to his E, so they're increasing the AP ratio on it from 60% up to 80%. Now this is really good, because a 20% AP ratio increase once you get to mid to late game team fights is just going to allow Kennen to do a lot more AoE damage in those team fights. I think this change is really nice, as well as the change to his W, so AP Kennen might see a little bit of a comeback in this next patch year, and it's definitely going to be much stronger. The next noteworthy change here is to Rek'Sai. Now, Rek'Sai in this patch right now is already starting to creep up to becoming one of the better junglers in this patch. She's getting buffed in this next patch too, so I think that if you're a good Rek'Sai player or you're looking to pick up Rek'Sai right now is the time to do it, because she's going to be super strong in my opinion in this upcoming patch. So what they're doing to Rek'Sai is they're increasing the bonus AD ratio on her ultimate from 160% to 185%. Now keep in mind, she also did get just buffed in the last patch. She got a buff to her W as well as to her ultimate. It got a little bit of a bug fix, so Rek'Sai is definitely super strong right now. I would highly recommend picking her up in the jungle. Another interesting change here for this next patch is to Trundle. Now, if you guys remember back to, I don't even know how long ago this was, it was probably a few seasons ago, Trundle's Q used to be able to do damage to towers, and they're adding that back into his kit now for 7.13. So Trundle's Q, you're gonna be able to use that on towers, which is gonna make his tower pushing ability just so much stronger for this next patch. You can use your Q as an auto attack reset, and it's also gonna deal that damage to the tower now, so it's just gonna allow Trundle to shove the towers in super fast. If he can get an early Rift Herald, then he's gonna be destroying those towers in no time. So this change might not seem like a big deal to you, but I think especially in certain matchups, Trundle's gonna do very well for 7.13. And then I honestly didn't even know this was part of Trundle's kit, but whenever you do use your W, you get increased healing and regeneration from all sources, and they're buffing that in this next patch. So it's going from 20% increased healing up to 25%. So that's another nice little buff to Trundle, and I think these changes are gonna make him a lot more viable in the top lane for 7.13. So those were all of the most noteworthy changes to champions in this next patch. There are a few other changes to different champions, but I'm not going to touch on them in this video because I don't really think they're going to really change how the champion is played, and they're not going to really get much stronger or weaker in this next patch. A few other changes though that we're going to take a look at are to items. Now, the first one here is to Cinderhulk. Cinderhulk is getting a change to where it's going to cost you 200 less gold. You're going to be getting 75 less health though, but the bonus health you get from buying other items and just from having the Cinderhulk, it's getting increased from 15% up to 20% now. This is going to be really good, I think, now on champions that do want to buy Warmog. So Mundo's a pick that is going to benefit a lot from this. Sejuani is another one that has been going Warmogs quite a bit recently, and just any other champion that's going to be stacking a lot of HP. You're also going to be able to pick this up earlier on into the game now, so it will make your jungle clear faster, and you're just going to hit a power spike a little bit earlier on now for these tank junglers. So a few picks that do come to mind that will get better in this next patch are like Nunu. Nunu is already one of the best champions right now, so he's going to get even better in 7.13. Sejuani's going to get better, Zack's going to get better. Any of these tank junglers right now that are in the meta are going to be even stronger for 7.13. And then Abyssal Mask is another item that's getting some nice changes in this next patch for a few different champions. So basically, I'll put all the changes up on screen here, but a TLDR is that this item is going to be really good on champions that are going to be using a lot of mana. So this would be a good item now on Singed, it'd be pretty good on Maokai, it'd be good on Galio as well. Any of these champions that do tend to run low on mana are going to benefit from these changes. What they're doing is they are now adding Catalyst into the build path, so you're going to get a little bit more sustain in the early game, you're going to get a little bit more mana, so this is definitely going to help you out if you want to be building this as your first item, because it will make your laning phase a little bit better. So that is going to be it for the most significant changes coming to 7.13. Like I said before, there are a few different changes to other champions as well, but I'm not really going to go over those because they're not going to make the champion any much stronger or any weaker for patch 7.13. So if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.